My name's Mikaela. I'm from Finland, so I'm a Finnish citizen, but I was born in Germany, in Neuwied. I didn't live there for long, so I don't have anything fun to say about that. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of Finland, return there every year. But yeah, I grew up in Germany for the most part and also did my bachelor's there in Nuremberg, which is basically also where I lived beforehand or grew up for the most part, and studied international business. So I was already very enthusiastic about anything international, which is also, I think, because of my upbringing. I had always like a very international family, international friends, and yeah, really cared about that. So international business was for me sort of a good combination of the normal business education that I was looking for, but also these like language components and cultural awareness components. And yeah, but I did know that like after 2 or 3 semesters into my bachelor, I did realize that I wanted to study somewhere else for my master's and also wanted to work in between bachelor and master somewhere else than Nuremberg. So first of all, after my bachelor's, I stayed in Germany and moved to Berlin to work in a fintech startup. That was very cool. So I worked in product management, and yeah, it was fun because I got to sort of create these websites and systems that people would use day to day, but I didn't really get to make any strategic decisions or didn't even get an insight into, why are we expanding into this region or why are we focusing on this product category? But that was actually what I was more interested in. So I did realize that while I didn't know that I wanted to go back to school, I then realized, okay, strategy was something that I was looking for. So strategy and international business was naturally sort of the perfect combination. Again, my interest into international and then the strategic component, and it sort of merged both perfectly fine. I was also thinking about studying in France or UK, somewhere completely different. So the SIM program is in Switzerland, in St.Gallen. So that is, I think that strikes many people as almost Germany. So not as broad as you would think and not as international, but I'm happy that I still went with it and really sort of followed my gut instinct, because it is still an international experience for sure for me as well, because I've never been to Switzerland. So anyone who assumes it's just like Germany, no, it is not. It's a very different experience. So yeah, that's sort of how I ended up here, and I'm very happy with the program that I chose. Yeah, I think it's a hard decision to make because there are so many programs out there, especially if you look on an international scale. The whole world is open to you. So you could study business anywhere, and there are so many business schools. I don't even know how many. So obviously it's an easy way to start with rankings, which is obvious with the SIM program. It does have a really good ranking and has had one for many years. But I don't think that should be or was a deciding factor for me, even though one needs to say, obviously, that it has good ranking for a reason, and the reason is what is interesting, right? So you have such driven people there, and they are very much open about looking for people who are interested not only just in doing a business education, but also social aspects. So we have also this project abroad, the social project that we organize, and also talk a lot about, what purpose do we follow and what do we really want to do with our education? What is our end goal? Do we really just want to do this for ourselves? Or do we want to have some sort of impact on the world with the work that we do? And because they talk so much about this and also openly were looking for students who were interested, I thought, okay, that is just what I'm looking for. And I think that other people were attracted to that might be a little bit like me. So yeah, I think it's important to look for something that really speaks to you and your values. So you also find this sort of little bubble of people who are similar and who you can sort of learn from and learn with. So the program has, especially in the first semester, you have almost all of your courses with other SIMMEs, and you have a lot of group work. So the whole program is really centered around group projects. They are part of pretty much every single course. And there you have, for example, courses like strategic management, strategic leadership. That is really where the strategic aspect comes through the most. But it is also a subject that, for example, we have a course called Research and Management, which is about, how do you do scientific research, but even there, the strategic component is part of the topics that we look at. So it's kind of this layer that is over many courses, and then there are some that really are about strategy. But what's also interesting is that in the first and second semester as well, you have electives, so you can really openly choose what you are interested in, and you can also then study those courses obviously with other students who are not just in the sim, because you do sort of get into this bubble a little bit, especially after the first semester. What is interesting about the contextuals is that they are on completely different topics. They are not management related at all. That is something that is special about the whole University of St.Gallen, that you can study something like queer history or what else did I study? Also the political Islam. So it's just very, topics that don't really have anything to do with management, but they broaden your horizon and you can explore new areas of interest or something that you care about, that just doesn't have to do just with your career goals, but just growing from a knowledge perspective overall. I think that is something that's very special to me as well. And I would really stress this collaborative part as well. So if you are someone who is open to group work, so either you like it, then it's great for you, or you maybe don't like it yet, or you're not as great at it, then this will really push you there to learn how to work in groups. For many of my peers in my bachelor's, it was a weird decision, and I don't think any of my friends chose to work full-time right after the bachelor's. Anyone went right into master's. So I did struggle with that decision, because for a moment I thought, okay, if I'm the only one doing this, is this wrong? But my reasoning was very much that I thought, okay, I had learned so much in my bachelor's, but forgotten so much of it as well, because I didn't really have any dots to connect it with. So I had done internships and stuff, but I really lacked this full-time employment perspective. So especially when we're talking about management, if you don't have any insight into management, and they tell you how to manage a team well, how can you really process this knowledge if you have not had this situation and you have never sort of practically experienced this? So I really wanted to throw myself out there and, also struggle for a bit, honestly, because I didn't have any full-time work experience. So the first time was always hard in a sense. Also because I started at 21, where everybody in my department was much older than me, but it was a really good experience just to see different projects, see different work dynamics. And then when I went back to my master's, I had a much easier time sort of listening to what the input I got from professors and then connecting it to, there was this situation in the startup that I worked at. That's what we could have done better with the knowledge that I have now. So I had examples in my mind. I had situations where something had gone wrong, and I now knew how to do it better. So I would say that the reasoning why I did go for the full-time employment before doing my master's actually really paid off the way I had planned for, thank God. So yeah, that was really, I would say it's really helpful, and I really encourage other people to do the same. Also, one practical reason is really financing. Living in Switzerland is not the cheapest thing to do. And especially for me, so I'm a Finnish citizen, but I lived in Germany for long and now I was studying in Switzerland, so there were not many scholarships available to me. So knowing that, I also saved up some money during my full-time employment that I could then use to finance my studies in Switzerland. The interesting aspect there really is that many people who apply for a master's think that when they're applying, they already need to know what they are going to use that degree for. So they already need to know the step after the next step. For me, that wasn't the case, and it also wasn't expected. So I think it is very expected from the SIM team and everyone that you come to this program without knowing exactly what you want to do, because there's a lot of time for exploring, just discussing with alumni, because they obviously have many different career paths and jobs, and there are alumni in all kinds of countries and cities and industries, and there's a lot to just learn from. And we also have different events with them where they are called career tea times, where you can talk to sort of people who are in the investment industry or consumer goods, or all these different kinds of industries. And we also have a career advisor just for us. So just for the 50-ish people that are in our cohort, we have one career advisor who we can run to with our questions, and she really doesn't want to push us into a specific industry, for example consulting, which is very clear when you study something like strategy that many people will end up there. So that is a very popular career path, but no one is trying to push you there. So it's a lot about exploring and really thinking about what you want to do. And it's also a lot about reflecting. With this career advisor, with other fellow students, in the courses, there's a lot of openness to thinking about what it is you really want to do with your career. The way it helped me was a lot. The career advice I got was really good, and really centered around asking the right questions, and sort of she almost led me to understand what I wanted to do, even when I didn't have the mental clarity to know that. And yeah, now I sort of have this goal in my mind that I want to do, that I just know of because I studied this. So for me, it was a lot about, it was like a reflection phase, really. So yeah, I didn't go into this knowing what I was going to do. It's definitely special. I was very surprised how little I understood Swiss German. I do not understand Swiss German as a German. That was the first thing that surprised me. So do not go there with that expectation. It is still a different country, even if you are a German student, which there are a lot of. But yeah, the Swiss people are super nice, also very welcoming to people from abroad. So there's really no issue with you speaking English there. So you really get along there nicely. And also, grocery shopping and everyday situations are very easy to handle in English as well, because I have many friends from the SIM as well who are non-German speakers. So that's very nice and a positive surprise. But also when you are in the SIM specifically, there are people from all over the world, from different continents. And I think it is very hard to compare with the overall experience of studying at the University of St.Gallen, because there are mostly German-speaking students. In the SIM, less so, and you really are in your bubble. So my experience, I would say, is very, very much marked by the SIM and by this international exchange with people from everywhere. I think I have changed in that I have reflected a lot on myself. So anything that I thought I was good at, I got to, I was challenged at and realized, oh, there's a way to go. And then I also realized my strengths, because you oftentimes, especially when you go into a challenging program where you have to have a certain GMAT to get in, or you have to have a certain GPA to get in, you oftentimes think, oh, what if I'm the stupid person there? What if everyone is smarter than me? But I think once you are there, you realize that everyone has different strengths and different things that make them themselves. And I think that was also really good for my confidence, realizing that I have a lot that I bring to the table, even in a round of people who are all very smart and very driven. And I think that was a very good experience for me. And also again, there's a lot of group work going on. So learning how to handle all kinds of situations, and also learning how to handle stress. So the amount of, different projects all at once, you usually don't have that in other programs, or also in many work situations, you wouldn't have 6 different projects with 6 groups of different people all at once at one point in time. So I think learning to handle that is very special. It can be very frustrating, can be exhausting at times, but I think it is really a great skill to have. I think it is important to know why you want to study in a specific program, right? There is a lot of talk about these rankings and how you shouldn't just focus on them. And I think one should really, really listen to that advice, even though it is hard, because you want to do what is deemed the best you can. But really look into, why do I want to study a specific program? What am I really interested about? What do I care about? Really look into the courses that are offered in a specific program and whether they interest you and whether you think, okay, I really want to know more about this. And also, for instance, the companies that a program partners with. which ones are there? Do they interest you? Because that can get you sort of a foot in the door. That can be very helpful as well, and can be an indicator of, where your career might go afterwards. And when you speak or reach out to alumni or current students, ask them not only how you get in, because we get these questions a lot, what kind of GPA do I need? There is no one GPA that you have to have, or specific GMAT you have to have. And that's not what you should care about the most. What you should care about the most is, why do I want to go there? So really ask other students, what's your experience been like? Why would you recommend it? Why would you not recommend it? What's been the best thing about the program? So really dare to also, look behind the curtain and see what it's really like to, get the best program for yourself. And also do think about, what are the people who are going to be in that program? So if you really want to surround yourself with international students from everywhere with different backgrounds, then a program like the SIM would be perfect for you.